All right, Buff fans. Whoo! Wow. What a what a relief that this is that we get to sit here after winning against Colorado State again for the second year in a row. But this time doing it convincingly because we had a lot of I say we Colorado had a lot of pressure on it. And Coach Prime had a significant amount of pressure on him. I mean, this was labeled as a do or die game, and Coach Prime he did in a do or die game. He went and he did. Hey Brian, how you doing? Welcome, guys. What do you think of the win? What do you think of the win? I mean, it was here in a second. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to bring up the stats so we can look at the stats a little bit here. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to split this dude right now and put this in here so we can take a look at it a little bit better. But we finally we all talked about it, and I'm not one of those guys that I'm going to say I called my shot and I said CU was going to do this and I said CU was going to do that. I mean, that's not what this is about. This is about we are fans and we are fans and we're here together. I'm not an expert. You guys may be experts, but we're just a bunch of fans hanging out talking about football. And that's what this is about. And I couldn't be more excited. I really wanted to see Colorado come out and run the ball, and they did. In fact, we had our first 100. I need to look this up, but we had our first 100-yard game in as long as I can remember. And if you look at the stats over here on the right-hand side, you guys may not be able to see that because this is like stupid small. Let me get this a little bit bigger. You don't need to see my ugly mug in this thing. Let me make this just a little bit bigger. Oh, other way. Other way. There we go. Let's look at the stats in this thing. So first of all, Shedeur, he did what we said he could do. We could have a really good run game, and we could also have a really good passing game. So Shedeur passed for 300 yards, which I don't think is by any means a poor game. I mean, some people might say it's a poor game for him because he likes his 400-yard games. But man, 310 yards is really a really good. That's a really good game, guys. And then when you look at our stats in running, look at this: Michael Welch. And everybody says Michael Welch was due, and Michael Welch was due. Micah went 9 for 65, and his long was 25. Isaiah Augustova, 6 for 31. What a great game there. And his long was 9. And then Charlie came and he cleaned up 2 runs for 16 yards. So really great night. And I think the number one stat that I want to bring out in this, what do you guys think it is? It's going to be the amount of sacks that we had in the game. We had 0 sacks on Shedeur that I saw. I take that back. He sacked himself. But I mean, outside of that, I don't think he had any sacks. So I could be wrong on that actually, but I don't think I am. I think he did pretty well for that. And on top of that, if you look down here, Hunter got 100 yards receiving, and we did that for Hunter. I mean, we did that for Hunter. Okay, let me say that again. Coach Prime made sure that Hunter got his 100 yards. Coach Prime also made sure that Shedeur went over 300 yards because that was important. We want to make sure that we take care of our guys. They worked really hard, especially Hunter. I mean, could you imagine playing both ways, over 100 snaps, coming 10 yards away from hitting his 4th 100-yard game in a row, which is a record for CU, and then not giving it to him? So there's going to be a lot of people out there saying it was selfish ball and all this other stuff. But you know what? I don't care. We're a team, and Hunter deserved it, and Coach Prime and Shedeur gave it to him. And I'm going to leave it at that. You know, I'm a team guy. I'm not an individual guy. I believe teams that get together. I like to not having names on the back of the jerseys. I mean, I'm an old school old guy. I mean, look at this face. I'm an old guy. I like old school. But when it comes to individual personal play and someone gives their all for the team and secures a win, my number one point for this game was Travis needs to have a really good game. And Travis had an outstanding game. And he deserved that extra little bit there for his 100 yards, making his 4 100-yard games in a row. Congratulations, Hunter, on that. Finally, some running. Let me show this real quick. Mr. Jackson did finally some running. Can you guys see those? Yeah, you can see them down there on the bottom there. We needed that win, says Mr. Jackson. The ref was horrible. Okay, so my wife and I were having, it wasn't really a drinking game, but I was drinking. So, but every time he blew that whistle, you know, we took a drink. It was funny how many times we got called, and honestly, they got called for crap that shouldn't have been called. Then there was, on the other hand, there was that targeting penalty really early in the game. It wasn't a targeting penalty. I'm sorry. It was a personal foul that should have been targeting on Shedeur, and that should have been called. So I'm gonna say that right now. So Sleeper, you were right. That was horrible officiating. Michael did his thing, run the ball. This is a great game for CU. I agree. We're gonna nitpick this game just a little bit on another day because there are some things that I think when we get to. Did y'all see Kansas State yesterday? Kansas State looks like a world beater. And Dylan really just freaking went off. And I don't want him to do that against Colorado. I mean, I love him. I got to know his family because I was always seemed to be in with his family every single game. For whatever reason, we always ended up in the same space. And they're such a great family. But we can't let Dylan beat us. I mean, sure, we can't let Dylan beat us, but Micah did his thing. Micah did a great job. And man, he is looking so good when he runs. Jennifer says the run game made it. I agree. Jennifer, thank you very much for that. That is the only thing I cared about in this game was, you know, should I say this, but I'm going to. I wanted the running game to be good even if we lost. If we lost and the running game was good, I was going to be okay. Because it's an inconsequential game when it comes to like the Big 12 championship. If we had lost this game, it wouldn't have affected that. It would have ruined my life from the standpoint of we're not going to play CSU again for, I think it's 5 years or something like that, unless something else changes now that they're going to the Pac-12. But it's still funny how I'm going to leave it at that. The run game was good. Ron says, why was CU throwing the ball with less than 2 minutes? All right, so there was a comment earlier. I'm gonna scroll back, Ron, because I kind of passed that up, and I didn't mean to, but Max says Alpine, the last few minutes on the clock in the fourth down. I was so pissed down the ball. I agree. So my wife was just absolutely losing her crap, and if you guys have watched this channel at all, you know that she's. I control myself pretty well. She is a sailor when it comes to football. And I had to calm her down because I was like, you know, I agree with all of you that at some point we need to show game management at the end of the game. But I'm trying to get in the head of coach and trying to figure this out. And there are a couple things that I came up with. This may not be anything, but take it as, you know, Alpine's rant. So first, this was a personal game. We all knew it. We talked about it. It was in every headline everywhere that this was a personal game against CSU. And I think at the end there, Coach Prime was just trying to get stats for the guys so that everybody ended up with a really good game. The second was that I don't think he wanted to just sleep on the ball. I think he wanted to piss Jay Norvell off, quite honestly. And I'm pretty sure it worked too. He wanted to let him sit there and stew on the fact that we might score yet another touchdown on him when we could just sit on the ball. Okay. So was it, man, I'm going to say a word I'm going to regret here, but Was it maybe a little immature from a coaching standpoint to do that? Yes, I'm going to say it was. As a fan, though, take the football out of it because my football mind and my fan mind run in totally different spaces. As a fan, I don't know. It's kind of fun to watch. I really wanted him to score another touchdown on top of Jay Norvell and see him lose his ever loving crap. We didn't get to do that, but we got Travis his 100 yards. We got Shador his 300 yards. We had a really good run game. We got over 100 yards in running, 109 yards rushing for CU. And so you're checking boxes there, right? The line looked really good. Shador only sacked himself. I don't think he had another sack in the game. The line looked really good. The defensive line, our defense looks so good, guys. It really looks good. Dan Hayes had a really good game. I want to give a shout out to, I made some notes here. Walker on defense, man. Walker, every time you look up, 53 is in the play somewhere. 53, 53, 53, 53. If you guys see any others that you want to call out, call them out in the chat right now. Let's see. Everybody played their part and it was good, Max says. Let's see. Jeanette, I am happy we won and the stats look good. Yes, the stats look really good. And, like I said, we'll pick this game apart a little bit because there are some tough games coming up. And honestly, there are some plays that we did really well on that I don't think we would do well on against some better teams. We kept, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to keep my formations and all this other stuff to myself. I will come out with a video tomorrow afternoon, kind of explaining the things that I think we could do better, even though we did very well. But tonight we're just celebrating. Let's see. Larry says they need to keep the pistol formation. I said this weeks ago. Yeah, when they're running out of the pistol, they're averaging, and I don't remember. I kind of did my own kind of calculation on this, just pistol alone. And I want to say it was over 7 yards a carry in pistol. But again, a lot of that was late in the game. So I don't know how much we can take of that, but I love the pistol. I love it. I love seeing if we're going to be in shotgun, if we're going to be off of the line, we might as well be running it in space and have it be a design play. And so I think that's Larry. I think you're right on there. KR says, don't down the ball, bury them. Grew up a CU fan, 50 years, Rams can eat it. That's the kind of the way I felt. My football mind was screaming. And then it took me a second to realize, you know what? If we scored on Jay Norvell again, I would be just the happiest man ever. He's got to live with that for 5 years if he makes it 5 years in that program. Max says it was personal. They were talking trash. I mean, they were just going crazy on us. Cheap shot team. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, the video that I posted right before this game was I put a little, it was a long video and I apologize guys, but when I go off on rants, I just go and I don't cut it out. I just post it. But at the end of that, I showed some Henry Blackburn play from the Northern Colorado game, which is the game before CU. And Blackburn was still cheap shotting. And I honestly thought that he would do it in this game too, because he did it so much in the last game. But honestly, I think we know Travis is a genius, right? Travis, I think, is more of a genius than we give him credit for because he got a cheap shot in the game last year. Everybody wanted to crucify Blackburn. He comes out and not only does a video with him, kind of gives him grace, gives him an opportunity to kind of step up on it a little bit, does some charity work with him down the road. And then this year in this game, I think it paid off. I think Blackburn probably would have played harder against Travis, meaning maybe even taking some cheap shots or something like that. But the mutual respect there kept that from happening. And that's Travis being a genius. Travis is like, you know what? I'm going to make him a friend. There's no reason to have him as an enemy. He's just such a good dude. How does someone become such a great person? I mean, it's just like there's so few people like Hunter right now that would have that much grace on something like that, especially if it was public. Spurtree says, have a little hope. The last 2 minutes were atrocious. Yeah, I agree. But, you know, Jay Norvell. Little Stadium was pretty, though. So let me tell you about the stadium. So CSU Stadium is a newer stadium. And although I was making fun of it and saying it's the best high school stadium in Colorado because it holds about 35,000 people, keep in mind that Oklahoma and Texas stadiums and even, Alabama stadiums for high school, I mean, these things fit 20 to 30,000 people in some cases. I mean, these are big stadiums for these high school teams. And so that's why I call it the best high school stadium in Colorado, because in Colorado, football is not a big deal. It really isn't in high school. And so a lot of teams share one football stadium. So there'll be one football stadium and like 5 teams will share it. So it's not like it is in the South. It's not like it is in Texas and Oklahoma. But when you get there, it's a new shiny stadium compared to Folsom, which is a little older and decrepit. In some cases, the bathrooms are like from, World War II. But that's what I love about it. The stadium smells like urine. It smells like mold. It smells like it's been there for a long time, and that gives it its charm to me. I love the age of that stadium, and I know we got to update it. And if you look down, you see the rust holes and things and stuff like that. But I still love it. But CSU Stadium is brand new, shiny. And the best thing about it is that you guys know I love beer. And one of my favorite breweries is out of Fort Collins. And you may know it. They brew Fat Tire beer. And if you've never had Fat Tire Amber, you need to have one. But anyway, they have a brewery stand in the middle, right. I think it's north of the end zone. So they're one of the end zones. It's got a big like bar set up essentially for this brewery, and you can hang out there. It's a standing room only kind of thing, so you can just stand there and you can have a beer and watch the football game from the end zone and stuff like that. And that's pretty cool. They also have a really good scoreboard, and I'm going to give them some props on that. So as much as I make fun of CSU Stadium, it does look good in pictures, but you can tell it's really small. Larry Parr says the only thing I wish he would play smarter on the end of the game. That I think that's a consensus right there. I think a lot of folks feel that way. I would have pulled Shadur, but he wouldn't have agreed. I know this is so we live in a different world at CU right now. We live in a world that at the end of the game, we can pretend like it's the middle of the game instead of just putting it away like everybody else would do. We can throw the ball around and do things like that. We also live in a world where our best players, especially our best players being Travis and Shadur, are not pulled out of the game when we haven't won handily because these guys are wanting to get drafted and they want to get their stats up as much as possible. And anybody can say anything different in that, like, we don't want to give up on the team and all this other stuff. But that's what it comes down to. Travis had to get 100 yards. He got it, and that's good on him. And I'm glad we did that. I would have done that too as a coach. And Shadur got his 300 yards, which again, I probably would have done as well. If he says he wants to do it, he wants to do it. I'm going to let him do it. Because these guys are the guys that are going to carry us for the entire year. And if you can't take care of them, what are you doing? So please get the likes up. I appreciate it, guys. One thing you'll know about me, I'm probably never going to have a Patreon. I'm probably never going to have a membership. Likes are great. I love likes, but comments mean more to me because the likes are something that the algorithm sees to make the channel grow. And honestly, I kind of like us where we're at. The fact that I can reply to every single comment on a video is important to me. If I got so big, 100,000 subscribers, and I couldn't reply to everybody or talk to everybody or get all of your feedback, I would not want to do it because this is the reason why I do it. I don't do it for money. I have other jobs. I don't make any money on this channel. In fact, I lose money every year on this channel, but I do it because I love it and I love the interaction. It's like sitting down with a bunch of friends and hanging out and just talking football, and that's what we're doing today, and I appreciate that. Go Buffs! I'll take a W any day. You can get hurt anytime. That's true. In fact, Travis got hurt at the end of the game. I say he got hurt. I think he got like a stinger or something like that, or he got a little bit of a shoulder bruise or something. And that was chasing down a wide receiver or a running back. I think it was a running back. It was Marshall to keep him from scoring a touchdown. They ended up scoring a touchdown anyway. So we it's very possible we could have lost Hunter on that play. So I understand what you're saying. Winning streaks are coming. Yes, we got Baylor next week. I'm not saying Baylor's a pushover, but Baylor should be, I would say, probably as easy as CSU is. Max says they could have put 16 QB when they knew. Yeah, I agree. We have some good backup QBs. Shador wanted to be in there. He wants to participate, and that's kind of what we got now. Colorado's defense is good, guys. Who does not think our defense is good right now? Man, we were so good. Call out some players. Everybody played good. Cokes played good. I saw Barnes in there. He played good. Walker was a stud. Dan Hayes was in there on a whole bunch of plays. We put a lot of pressure on Nicolosi. Made him run off that right side like I said he was going to do. He loves running right. He never runs left. He always runs right. And they knew that, and they balled him up pretty good tonight. One game at a time, Ryan says. KR said, how did they have the Mountain West refs at this? Pac-12 dudes busy. Figured they have some. Yeah, I don't know. I think it has something to do with the reciprocity between the two conferences, and I guess that was where the reciprocity left. But I will say this: I didn't think the officiating was good, but the officiating was bad on both sides. It was bad on both sides. Brian C says, "Hope you enjoyed that game. Sot or not, it was enjoyable to watch. There's still a lot to get better. Charlie, hope to see him more. Sco Buffs, we'll listen to your analysis. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Max says, so hurt your starters when the game was already won because it clearly was out. Yeah. I mean, if Shador or if Travis had gotten hurt, there would have been hell to pay, quite honestly, by the media. And, well, I guess by the media. Probably by, CU admins as well. So there is that. I mean, Mac, you're not wrong in this, Kansas looked great. Kansas looked terrible. Kansas State looks really good. I'm really afraid of Kansas State. I already picked them as a loss. And of course, by the time we go to play Kansas State, I'm going to say we're going to win because that's what I do. But I think Kansas State's the toughest game on our schedule, and that is including Utah. Defense looks legit. Max says Dylan showed out. Dylan did. Dylan looked freaking fantastic, and I was excited. Keep in mind that I'm also an OU fan, okay? I have a long lineage with OU. And Kansas State is our nemesis. And I don't like to see Kansas State win until Dylan gets there. And now I'm a Kansas State fan. So go figure. My entire life I've hated Kansas State. Now I like Kansas State. I don't know what the deal is. But Spurty says Dallin, Micah, and Augustave need to be in the RBs going forward. Micah could have had a much better game. Tight ends, Smalls, and Hart also need to be in the rotation in the scheme. Yeah, tight ends. We're going to talk about tight ends tomorrow because we didn't have the tight end play. So that first series that we had, I'm sure you folks saw it, but we had a 13 personnel online. I think it was one play. So we had 3 tight ends in the game and 1 running back. And I about lost my freaking mind because I was like, holy crap. We went exactly opposite of what we've been doing. And I was so excited. Now, Augustave ran the ball and we didn't get any yardage on that. But just the set alone was super exciting. If that had been an RPO and we had gotten one of those tight ends in play, we probably could have gotten a lot of yardage on that. But just the fact that we're getting out of our comfort zone and we're trying some new things. Now, it ended there. The rest of the game was basically 10 personnel almost all the way through the game. but we won. So I'm not going to complain about it. We're not going to be able to do that against OSU. We're not going to be able to do it against Kansas State. No, I know. I'm doing we're doing the thing here. Sorry. I've been told that I need to split the screen. So there you go. Sorry, guys. Dylan, let me show this. Dylan, sophomore, Micah, freshman. My money on Micah. Micah as a true freshman, guys. Holy crap. If he has a game like this, every game, he won't need a red shirt. He's going to be drafted he's going to be drafted as a junior. He's looking really good. I'm really surprised that coach put everybody in this game. And I am happy that coach put everybody in this game. Every back that we had, other than Christian Sarem, who was a walk-on, and we know he wasn't active, but every other back got reps, and that's exactly what I've been asking for, and you and I and everybody has been asking for. We want to see what everybody can do. You know, Augusta Vey got off to a little bit of a rough start, but absolutely came through in the end. He had some really good runs, and he looked really good. I think Micah was you know what? Did we see Brandon Hood? Somebody tell me. I don't remember seeing Brandon Hood in there. I hope we did. If we didn't, I'd be surprised and probably a little upset too. But let's see. What do we got here? I'm going to wrap this up here in just a second, guys. It was personal. I think that's why they did that. I think so too. I think they wanted to show Jay Norvell that, you know, you guys are going to talk before the game and we're going to talk at the end of the game, which is basically that last drive we're going to do. It would have been much better as an exclamation point to have actually converted on that and actually scored a touchdown. But, you know, hey, it doesn't always work out for us. Uncle Tub Gaming says, I wanted to run the score up because they were running their mouth. I know. I'm the same way. At first, I was like screaming at the TV because I'm like, not again, guys. We can't do this again. But then after a brief moment, I realized, okay, I get it. I understand. I'm okay. This game was personal for Prime. That is exactly correct. And the fact that they both went out and shook hands at the end of the game shows they're both adults, and that's nice. CU was probably trying to run the score up. This game was personal for Prime. Mac says, sorry, Mac, I'm trying to get you up here, buddy. What is going on? Hang on one second, guys. I'm trying to get something. Here we go. All right. And we're back again. All right. Mac says, but you're at risk at hurting your player. Mac has been a really long time subscriber, and I understand what you're saying, Mac. Shador and Travis in the game late. Man, I'm going to split 50-50 on this. I'll probably give my opinion later, but you guys don't need my opinion. I mean, the practical side of me, I'm a very conservative guy when it comes to football, which is run the ball. Time of possession is the most important thing in football to me. When I coached, it was time of possession. Keep the ball away from the other team, and if you do that and you can convert, you're going to win the game. Even if it's 3-0, 7-0, if you keep the ball away from the other team, you're going to win the game. And at the end of the day, it is about the win. We can beat them 68-0. It doesn't matter. That's not going to mean anything come the next game. You need to get the win, and you need to keep it away from the other team. So at this point, we did that. Let me look see what time of possession was, because I've been wanting to see that stat. And I don't know that it's on what I have here, but I will guarantee you money that we won the time of possession. Hang on one second. Let me see what we got here. Time of possession. Does anybody have that stat? We had to win this time of possession. There was I think maybe actually two. I have all of the series down here. I want to say there was at least 2 or 3 series where we had the ball longer than 5.5 minutes. So we absolutely won that. And that's super important to me. If we win time of possession, there is a very good chance we win the game. Spurty says 6 wins will be tough for this team. Hopefully they will still gel and progress. after they are still getting to know each other. That's true. New team, use the transfer portal a lot. These guys haven't played a lot together, but by game 3, they're looking a little more solid, right? Anyone can get hurt anytime. I don't buy that argument. KR says so. KR and Mac are going together, but we're friends. It is what it is. I'm split. Hill Green looked really dang good tonight. Thank you very much for that. He did. He's been showing up. He even showed up at Nebraska quite a bit, even though we lost that game. It wasn't on him. I mean, obviously he did a great job. Green is a solid linebacker. David said Minnesota hero. Antonia Wilshire says Hill Green. Hart had a catch. That's right. Hart had a catch, and Smalls had a catch. Back to the scout team for Charlie. I don't know about that, guys. He played in today's game. He's not on the scout team. And he had 16 yards on 2 carries. That's 8 yards per carry, guys. For those of you who are in who commented on my video and in other live streams that were talking about Charlie is trash because he was 4 rushes for 4 yards and didn't watch my video to show you why he was 4 for 4, and you're only doing stats, 8 yards per carry. I'm just going to throw that out there. 8 yards per carry. Shout out to Hill Green. Yes. Defense did well. We need to keep it going. Don't be content. That's right. We got to kill some big teams here pretty soon. Charlie's a great teammate, but he is a good teammate. So what is up with Jason Phillips and Jay Norvell in that exchange? I don't know. It was sexy, though. I liked it. I liked that it wasn't Coach Prime and that some of the other coaches were getting in there. But whatever that was is whatever it is. That video they put out, they let the alligator mouth overload the turtle ass. I have no idea what that means, Uncle Tub. I don't, but I think I get it. Green was a beast tonight. Green was. Charlie is not a good football player. Good guy, but he needs to let players that are I don't know. MJ, I'm not going to say that you're wrong or you're right, but there's a reason why everybody's on the Charlie bandwagon, but a handful of people. I'm just going to say that. It was personal. Jeanette Fox says, I'm not sure why y'all complaining about anything. So what coach wanted to get some back. It's about time he deserved to get. Yeah. I mean, it's his team at the end of the day. And if he wants to do that, he knows he's going to get ridicule for it. He knows he's going to be second guessed by the media because in a win where we won handily and we beat the absolute crap out of CSU, he knows that the media is going to latch on to something. They got to find something to complain about. And so they're going to complain about the end of the game. And traditional football rules aside, traditional football, you wouldn't have done that. But this is Coach Prime football, and Coach Prime wanted to make Jay Norvell feel it a little bit, and he did. So there you go. We started off good, and as soon as we had success with the play calling, Shedeur started checking out of the plays by Shermer. Overall, we played okay, but Shedeur and Travis should have been taken out of the game late. I think that's something a lot of people agree on. CU is lucky the block bully didn't play. That's true. And we still did good without him. So that tells you how good our entire line team is. That's, because we're going to get players that are going to go in and out for injuries and things like that. And it's nice to know that these other guys will pick it up. CU is lucky Dallin didn't play either. That's true. Dallin would have definitely put something on him. Hunter is 100% a winner in life. I agree. Joey is in the house. Really like an adjustment for our running backs. Isaiah starting. What a pleasant surprise. I agree with that. I like to see, and it's not just the running back positions, but it's also the wide receivers. I want to see, last year we found a lot of people when we started to suck. We found a lot of really good players because we started to rotate some people in to try something new. And then all of a sudden, woo, look at this. We have players that are, backup players that are as good as some of our top tier talent. So it's always nice to find something like that. So I agree. Micah as running back two, bigger surprise, love it. True. Um, Jeanette says, bored. How the heck do you know that? Oh, I don't know what that's about, Jeanette. Let's see. Damn, Travis stats are tonight are insane. I agree. Yeah, I mean, he had a pick. He had how many touchdowns? He had 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, and he played over 100 downs. So if he is not the leader in the Heisman talk right now after this game, then I don't know what people are smoking, but he's got to be. He's got to be. Shepard stepped up as well. That's true. Shepard did do a really good job. Leaving Hunter and Shador in the fourth is suspect. I agree. I agree and I disagree. I agree and I disagree. I'm a waffle on this. I'm a waffle like a waffle iron on this because you guys know why. I don't even say it anymore. Great win now. Baylor up next. Keep improving. Let's see. Baylor isn't good. I agree with that. Baylor should be a breeze. Joey says, I know Shador is good, but if him being late was his decision, that's a concern. He took a hit with less than 2 minutes in the fourth. Stephanie Dasher says, USA, hey, Chris. Happy we won. Hey, Stephanie, yeah. Stephanie is an OG subscriber. Yeah, I like the safe zone in this of this page. I don't normally agree with criticism of coach, but I'm lost as to why we didn't end the game. Yeah. So Stephanie, you're in the same spot I am. I think the practicality of football and the love for Coach Prime and the hate for CSU. So there's 3 things. It's like this little trilogy thing going on here where you have, your brain says sit on the ball. You could have run the ball out and CSU would have never touched it again. But then you want the players to show out and get their stats because they're, to have CU end up with a Heisman Trophy winner and 2 guys in the top 5 draft is going to be absolutely enormous for our recruiting. So let's not forget that, okay? This is good for recruiting also. Okay, could we have lost Hunter? Absolutely. Could we have lost Travis? I'm sorry, could we have lost Shador? Absolutely. They're taking a risk by doing that. In the end, if we can get those guys doing the things that we just talked about, that recruiting end is going to fill that ditch that Shador and Travis are gonna leave us essentially. And then you have the third one, which is we hate CSU and Jay Norvell is a jackass. And coach wanted to put something on him. And so he was trying, and that's what that was about. So you get the trilogy. We're going to call it the trilogy there. Joey Emmanuel at Mac. That's where my suspicions are. There were some good adjustments. Yeah, I agree. I think we actually started out with better adjustments than we ended with, but we made adjustments, and that's good. We anything is better than nothing when we start this. Let's see. Hill Green was linebacker we needed. Stephanie Dasher says, yeah, defense was great. Even last week, the fact that we held them in the second half scoreless, I was happy with it. Yeah, it started last week, Stephanie. Great point. It started last week in the last half of last week, and it carried through this game. The adjustments made at halftime last week were if we had just started the Nebraska game like that, everybody says we got blown out by Nebraska. When you look at the score, it looks like that. But honestly, it was a couple of really bad plays and a couple of really bad calls, and we would have been back in that game. So, but the second half, we held it together. So, let's see. Throwing the ball in garbage time instead of running. I know we're trying to get stats at that point. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. Joey says K-State's going to be a problem. Yeah, to say the least. K-State is going to be a problem. Thank you, Yusef. Smash the like button. Ask TCU. Pat's made great strides. I agree with that. I mean, I think this was the game. If we did not make the adjustments we made in this game and we lost to CSU, I'm going to hate to say that, guys, on this one, but it wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good for a lot of the coaches if we didn't make adjustments and we lost to CSU. We didn't. We did good. The win was delightful. Yes, we were so excited. Micah just needed opportunities. That's all anybody ever needs, right? Give them opportunities. If they don't take advantage of opportunities, then that's on them, right? We gave them the opportunities. They showed up. We did well. Hope you're drinking a Weissen. No, unfortunately, I'm not. I'm drinking a Coors Light because it's late at night, and I have to get up and work at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. So I gotta drink my Rocky Mountain water here. Hayden has to be excited. You know he is. And the reason why he's excited, obviously his counterparts had really good games. All of them did. But now he knows we can run the ball. We have committed to running the ball. And when we get him in there, you know we're going to run the ball more. 109 yards, 106, 109 yards in this one. It's going to get even better. We're getting to the 41-minute, guys. I don't want to keep you much longer. I very much appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I am going to post a video. It's going to be tomorrow evening. I'm going to break down the game a little bit more. I'm going to put some game footage in there so that you can see the breakdown of film. And then we can talk about it a little bit more. Let me get a couple of other comments in here real quick. Keep the defense balanced. I agree. Heisman will be big for CU. Yes. Man, it did wonders for us the first time in the mid-90s, and that lasted for almost a decade in recruiting. And then this one will do the same thing. It will last a decade in recruiting. Let's see. I'll be honest, we have a lot of discipline cleanup. We do. Yeah. I mean, we're not the most disciplined team. I don't think anybody's ever going to say that we are. And honestly, I don't know that Coach Prime would say that we're the most disciplined team. But we were disciplined enough tonight. And we have time. We can build on this. Let's see what else we have here. Not the first Heisman. Not sure if Wizard White won it, but definitely got one with Rashawn Salam. That's right. Rashawn won it in 94. And Whizzer. So Byron Whizzer, honestly, I will have to tell you that if you put me up against a lot of other Buffs fans for knowledge and history of CU, I would say that I would be in that top group of people that would know things like this. But I don't know if Byron won the Heisman. I think he did, but I can't remember. I think he had to have. But anyway, Rashawn Salam, best running back we've ever had, obviously won. We got a lot more. Thanks, Chris. Great chat. Catch you on the next one. Appreciate it, Stephanie. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Good night. Appreciate it very much. Great win for CU. Head on backwards. We're ready to roll for Baylor. I'm going to have another video out tomorrow, and we'll catch up then. That's a wrap from Alpine Garage Sports. I will see you in the next video.